We're in the middle of fast-moving stories. We were told this lunchtime that Sue Gray's report had been delayed, supplanted indeed, by an investigation conducted by the Met Police, by Cressida Dick. And now we're told this evening that in fact Sue Gray's report, it has been finished, and we're simply awaiting publication. So presumably Downing Street have seen it. Downing Street say they have no problems with publication. Well, of course they would say that, wouldn't they? Why isn't it published? I think I was perhaps slightly over enthusiastic when I heard that the Sue Gray report had been delayed. If it hasn't been delayed, my enthusiasm is significantly more restrained. Because I think there is every possibility, the more we get stories that just leak out about party after party after party, the more untenable it is that Boris remains in his job. His job is untenable. In the long run, he has to go. In the short run, if he could stay long enough to get an entirely new cache of ministers with their feet under the cabinet table, then at least there would be the option of having somebody with some fresh blood and somebody with some credibility in number 10 until the next election. That is the point. And I think then that next election probably wouldn't be too far in the future, because whoever takes over from Boris would be a fairly lame prime minister until they got their own mandate. That would be absolutely clear. And there's been too much of this, too much of slotting in prime ministers and changing one prime minister for another. But what is interesting is Rishi Sunak attended Boris's birthday party. That is clear. Liz Truss has been smeared with stories which have come out in the last few days. Priti Patel, of course, whether she wants to put her name forward as a possible successor, I don't think she'll be taken very seriously, or at least I hope not. Dominic Raab, extraordinary that Dominic Raab can have the chutzpah to even think that he's a contender when he was busy slapping on number 10 in Crete while people were suffering in Afghanistan. And his job, not to be slapping on number 10, but to be getting out there and doing the job. He just couldn't be bothered. And Jeremy Hunt, I just think our reputation would slide so far. Jeremy Hunt has made spoonerism fashionable again. And Jeremy Hunt, he's just... Doesn't he take that smugness of so many of our ministers at the moment that little bit too far? Are there any others? Gove. Well, Gove isn't credible. Gove is one of those who's already admitted to a dalliance with Category A drugs. So I think he's out of the running. Oh, at least I hope so. But oddly, I think he's probably one of the better candidates. We need new blood. We also need to give the Labour Party time to settle. I think finally Keir Starmer has shown his mettle. What he hasn't shown is that he's got a team behind him who can actually take over. So we need time for that. We need time for a realistic opposition. We need time for a realistic replacement for Boris. What we really do not need is Dominic Raab, Priti Patel, Liz Truss, Rishi Sunak, lording it over us because that would be worse than what we've got at the moment, believe me. If you've got any thoughts on this, or if you think I'm sort of speaking gobbledygook rubbish, please leave your comments below. If you've got any great ideas, I just don't see a solution, a positive solution to Boris's immediate resignation, and I would prefer things to wait. But I'm not in charge. clearly. And more than that, we've also got all the other stuff hanging over us of a serious crisis in the Ukraine. And why is that serious crisis taking place? Because everybody in the West is so obsessed with themselves. Boris, Macron, the new chancellor in Germany, Biden. Oh, everyone is so inward turned. Of course, Mr. Putin sees his moment. Of course he does. And I don't. Well, I'll make another video about Mr. Putin in the next before tomorrow morning, I think. I'll put up some further thoughts about Putin. Have fun, and please leave your comments, and subscribe, and ring the bell. Ring the bell like there's no tomorrow.